welcome back. And in the studio is lawyer and human rights advocate Ahmed Adetola Kazim. He joins us live to discuss further on the release of 101 Dapchi schoolgirls. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
What were your thoughts when you heard about the news?
I was elated, particularly for the parents of the children who were released. So it's better than they being in captivity, just like some Chibok girls or like the ones that died, unfortunately. So I think it was a good news.
We heard that there were negotiations by the government for the release, even though they have denied that. A lot of people have been reacting to that. Some even suggesting that cash may have exchanged hands. You heard a security expert, Mr. Otto, there, who talked about it. And some even say it might have been premium for it to have been so quick. What do you think? Is this giving the sect a lifeline in some way?
I think the government did the second best thing. So the best thing would have been to prevent it in the first place, particularly with reports that they knew of the attack before it happened. That 4 ways from in a place called Gumsa, when they were gathering, when they were moving, there were reports that some security agents were alerted, but nothing was done. I think that is extremely unfortunate, particularly with the issue of the Chibok girls that is still fresh in our minds. So it shouldn't have happened at all. On the issue of negotiation, the government is not denying that they negotiated, but they are denying that they pay compensation, which I doubt, sincerely. I know during the negotiation with Chekau faction, for the Chibok girls, they paid nothing less than $3.7 million. And there is indication that probably they'll have even paid more for this. I think it's just they are just creating an economy for the Boko Haram and the affiliates. And I think it is extremely unfortunate that is happening.
With regards to the reports from Amnesty International that the police, the army, they had advance warnings. Moving it forward, in the current NSCDC deployment to schools in the northeast, do you think this is a way forward to prevent further abductions? NSCDC alone cannot do it, but at least it would mitigate it. Ideally, military men should not be in the cities, but we know the peculiar situation of the northeastern Nigeria. So I think the military has done well, at least in the fallback of the Chibok girls, and I think there should be more concerted effort. We shouldn't keep deceiving ourselves that Boko Haram is defeated or decimated. They are still strategically guarded. That is what we can see from the capture of the Dapchi girls. So we should stop praising ourselves. Let's just keep working. You don't need to tell us it has come to an end. Let everyone see that it has ended, really. So I think because now there's the issue of the Barnawi faction and the issue of the Chekau faction. And as it appears, their strategies are different. While the Chekau faction is more confrontational, the Barnawi faction is more strategic, and the government should deal with them strategically too. All right, thank you so much. Ahmed Adetola Kazim, a human rights advocate, for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Turning brutalized child soldiers back into ordinary children is no easy task. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, a UN-funded center, Transit and Orientation Center, CTO, is helping them fight ostracism, superstition, and their violent past to try reuniting them with their families.
15-year-old Enoch Kalubi was at home in his Bena Tisishwaka village when members of the Kamwina Nsapu militia snatched him from his family. His parents were given a simple choice: hand over your son or watch him die. The militia picked him up to pass him through the Bizaba ritual, the name of the initiation ritual Kamwini Nsapu militia used to turn their recruits into fighters, and it involves consuming blood and red ants. Fearing for his life, Kalubi's parents gave him up to the terror group.
People with red bandanas arrived. I was the only boy at home, and they told my parents to give me to them. If you do not give your son to us to be washed with Bizaba, which is initiation rituals used by Kamwini Nsapu militia, we will cut off his head. Fearing I will be decapitated, my parents handed me over.
13-year-old Kalombo Kaluji from the village of Kakuma has a similar story. He says he was grabbed by the militia early in the morning and put through the Bizaba initiation ritual, where he was forced to drink human blood and swallow red ants.
In my village, I was going to sleep with my friends as usual. Early in the morning at 5, I went into the forest, which is where I bumped into the Kamuna Sapu people who had red bandanas. They told me to follow them or they would decapitate me, and that's how I ended up following them into the forest. When we arrived, there was human blood in buckets and decapitated heads. They dipped the red bandana in the blood and tied it to my head, and they made me drink the human blood and swallow red ants.
Both teenagers, who say they spent about a month with the militia, are now in a transit and orientation center set up by the National Catholic Bureau for Childhood Congo in Mbuji-Mayi with funding and support from the United Nations Children's Agency, UNICEF. Psychologist Nasise Kinzambi, who manages a transit center, 100 of the children in their care are former child soldiers conscripted into the militia.
The aim of the CTO is to take away the spirit of the weapon, the spirit of the charms, since Kamuna and Sapu puts the emphasis on the charms and the magic stick. We have to extract these from the child through basic education.
The UN says as many as 5,000 people died last year and over 1 million were uprooted in central Congo in battles between armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo and the militia, who were seeking to avenge the death of their leader, Kamuna Nsapu, who was killed by the Congolese armed forces in August 2016.
And Zambia's tax authority says a prominent mining company has avoided paying $8 billion worth of tax over a 5-year period. It did not name the company, which it says had passed off its imports as mining machinery, which is tax exempt. It is also not clear what the imports were, but they must have been worth at least $30 billion to generate such a large tax bill. Dozens of mining companies operate in Zambia, which is Africa's second-largest copper producer. The authorities say they plan to conduct audits on all mining companies going back over the last 6 financial years. And Kenya's ruling Jubilee Party has admitted that it paid for branding during the 2017 presidential election from SCL, an affiliate of consultancy firm Cambridge Analytica. The firm, which is best known for helping Donald Trump's U.S. presidential bid in 2016, is at the center of an election manipulation scandal involving social media platform Facebook. According to a video secretly recorded and broadcast by local media in the UK, the London-based consultancy ran the campaigns of Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta in the 2013 and 2017 elections. The company has suspended its CEO, Alexander Nix, who was filmed as part of a Channel 4 investigation, giving examples of how the firm could swing elections around the world with underhand tactics such as smear campaigns and honey traps.
Now, Cambridge Analytica, and they said this information is just emerging. I think investigations are still ongoing. If they were found guilty of influencing information or influencing how campaigns were run or the information that are getting to the voters and the public in Kenya, that would be the angle that we'll be looking at. We'll be asking ourselves how much of the smear campaign, how much of the fake news did they participate in or fabricate for purposes of influencing how voters thought about the process.
I'm not up for the idea for using fake news, and because it's a conspiracy all in all, and then as citizens we need to be free, we need to feel secure, we need to feel like our personal data is somewhere safe, locked up.
It won't be good if someone tries to brainwash you, tries to change your idea or interfere with whoever you want to select, whoever you want to elect is not good.
We'll continue to keep an eye on that story and bring you further developments. Well, that's the program at this time. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker.